Hello guys, welcome back to Super Guy Boy Show, and today we are back with my usual JoJo content. I know it's been many months since I've done this type of video, and I am happy to go back to it once again. And I don't know, this just feels very good to me to go back to this type of video. I'm happy to finally do it, and I'm sure that y'all are happy as well. Also, before I start, forgive me for my voice this time around. I have just gotten braces as of recent, and so you're gonna get a lot more of a lisp type of voice. So I am sorry if that's a bit of a turn off for y'all, but you know, I had to deal with this shit for like a couple of years. So yeah, now let's go to the main discussion of this video, and that is an update. This is more of an update video to like my favorite JoJo arcs in JoJo video that I released a year back, where I was listing out some of my favorites and all that. And this is more about the Wonder of You arc, where I'm gonna be honest, the Wonder of You arc has grown to be my third favorite arc in JoJo's. Just I couldn't believe it myself either. And I gotta say, it definitely has something to do with the last couple of months I had to deal with that had honestly to be some of the worst periods of my life, that it made me perceive the Wonder of You arc so much more differently. Like during these last couple of months, I reread the Wonder of You arc like 3 times, and honestly, it's one of those reasons that made me look at the Wonder of You arc a lot more positive than I think I did beforehand. Cause honestly, the main draw for me that I love about the Wonder of You arc is how so bizarrely unsettling it is. And I know it's a bold statement to say that the Wonder of You arc is, in my opinion, Araki's most bizarre, unsettling arc, because bizarreness is practically a key element to JoJo's. It's what makes the story so different from other shonen manga, that makes it fantastic for so many people that see JoJo's as one of the more unique anime and mangas out there. But what I mean about the Wonder of You arc being very bizarrely unsettling isn't the fact that the Wonder of You arc is bizarre in a more straightforward aspect. It's the atmosphere, it's the mystery about the Wonder of You arc that I love, that keeps me coming back to this arc so much. Honestly, I love how very unsettling and how there's so many things that are going on in this arc that completely just throws you out of it so many moments. It's like Araki was doing a lot of lightning in the bottle ideas in the Wonder of You arc so much that it keeps the arc so interesting as you keep reading it. And I could see how a lot of people who read JoJolion when it was coming out monthly viewing it in a more negative aspect, because having to wait month after getting like a chapter that might not be worthwhile and all that. I honestly see the Wonder of You arc be more of a thing where like you keep getting so invested that you keep reading chapter after chapter after chapter, which was going on with me. I love how bizarre and how very weirdly atmospheric the Wonder of You arc is. There's so many things that are going on, like the head doctor mystery with Mamazuku and Josuke, Jobin's descent into becoming more and more of an antagonist, Toru's weird mystery of trying to figure out who Toru is and what his affiliation with the head doctor is, and Yasuo trying to get the Rokakaka fruit that she knows. She's the only one that knows that's at the real estate that no one else is believing but her. I love how there's so many things going on. And another thing that I love about the Wonder of You arc is how it keeps building and building. At first, the Wonder of You arc is very more of a setup, a couple of chapters, but then the more and more it keeps building up, we're getting more hints of the Wonder of You, we're getting more hints about Jobin becoming more of an antagonist, and then upwards to chapter 98 or chapter 99, complete and utter chaos just completely unfolds, and that's what I love about it. Sure, a lot of the stuff that happens in the Wonder of You arc could be a bit of a hit or miss for so many other people. Like, I don't know, for me, the ones that don't work for me is Kei Nijimura's return, the flash forward. I still think those are some of Araki's more missteps as a writer, especially the flash forward. I still don't care for it, but if I can still ignore the flash forward for a bit, and I could still forgive Araki a bit for the Kei Nijimura return, because there's so much that I think is so worthwhile about the Wonder of You arc that I honestly don't mind these things in the background of the whole arc. Now, let me talk about the big elephant in the room, Toru. I know a lot of people either hate Toru or love Toru or in the middle, But honestly, I don't mind Toru. I think he's a really good villain. Now, of course, I don't think he has the same amount of like presence as the Wonder Review. The Wonder Review has surprisingly a lot more presence than Toru himself. I think the worst step that I think Araki took was trying to make more of a mystery, a final mystery type of villain. Like, oh shit, Toru's the main villain. That's the big reveal and all of that. And I could see how that would work for people who were reading JoJolion, who were having in their heads like Kato's gonna be the main villain, Jobin's gonna be the main villain, and then oops, I know, or this random character that was never introduced before gets brought in and is now all of a sudden the main villain and all that. I can see how that would work in that context. However, because the part is done, a lot more people who haven't read JoJolion already have an idea that Toru is the main villain. So yeah, that was my perception of JoJolion, that Toru was the main villain. So it kind of makes this arc's mystery a bit more unfortunate for more people who already know the mystery. However, I don't think Toru's that bad of a villain. The scenes that we get from him honestly add so much more to his character, and he's easily one of the more interesting JoJolion characters to read out of it. I think one of my favorite aspects is how very like emotionally manipulative he is towards Yasuo. It adds so much more to his character that we don't know much about. I like the mystery aspect about Toru, that we don't know much about him. The only aspects we see is that he basically has just been hunting Yasuo throughout her whole life and all of that. And it's such a creepy idea to think about Toru as just this creepy groomer ass character. It's honestly one of the more despicable things that a main villain in JoJo has done. I especially love how Toru throughout the last couple of chapters in the Wonder Review is completely like just stern, negative about everyone, how, you know, he's basically just scot-free with anything bad happening to him. He basically is in full-on belief that he will stay alive. And then out of nowhere, Kato comes in chapter 106 and 107. He's just completely taking so many L's right here. And it honestly was so satisfying to see Toru getting to his last knees, completely like begging Yasuo to do something because he's dying. Because everything he thought that the Wonder Review was capable of is basically failing right in front of him. It was so satisfying to see this complete asshole getting what he deserved and all of that. Easily my favorite subplot in the Wonder Review arc is most definitely the Jobin subplot. I love Jobin a lot. He's my favorite character out of JoJolion, and Jesus, did I love this subplot so much. Seeing Jobin throughout the whole part made me question his kind of significance to it, because I knew very well that Toru was going to be the main villain of JoJolion, so I was a bit confused what Jobin was exactly going to be. But what I love about it is that he basically becomes this antagonist of his own subplot, you know? I loved, especially chapter 95, my favorite chapter out of JoJolion, and in my opinion, one of Araki's best chapters in JoJo's just ever, easily in his top 5. But what I love about this chapter the most is how everything that Jobin has done completely crashes down so horribly in front of the family members and the readers. Easily my favorite moment was when Narusuke checks where he got the plant from using King Nothing, and all the family are just getting completely freaked out, like, wait, that's Ojiro, and all of that. And then we get that fucking panel of Joven completely in utter shadows as everyone is seeing what he's done to get the plant. And honestly, it was such a fucking crazy moment. I swear, every time I read that moment, every time and time again, I just imagine like a Breaking Bad track playing in the background as that shit just happens. It sounds so brutal. It reads so brutal as when I read it. And I love the little moment when Jobin has to knock out Norsuke, and he says like, I'm sorry, I have to do this. I know I'm in the right path, as he knows what he's doing is completely wrong, but he still is in his head thinking what he's doing is right. And seeing Jobin's death in chapter 97, being killed so carelessly by the Wonder Review, just adds more and more to that brutalness that the Wonder Review just gets. The Wonder Review, as a standalone, is one of the most unsettling things in JoJo's. There's something so unsettling about you being completely killed so carelessly by a calamity the second you try to take out the Wonder Review, is what makes Jobin's death so dark to read. It's what makes Mamazuku's death so destructive to see. How so quickly he is taken out, and it's so brutal too. Despite the fact that Kei Nijimura comes in for just a couple of pages, she gets killed so quick, and it's not even like given any chance for her to give her own monologue or anything. She just dies quick. When Kato takes out Toru, she dies too so quick. The Wonder View has so much that is so unsettling about the stand that makes this arc so different to read from any other JoJo parts. Usually JoJo deaths are dealt with so much force and so much, heaviness to it, where usually everyone's taken out of it and has to give a reaction to their death. The Wonder of You doesn't let that shit happen. When a death happens in the Wonder of You arc, it happens and all the characters just have to keep going to stop the stand. It's so brutal the way it's done. And this is elevated so much more by the last chapter of JoJolion, where we see the family still grieving about the deaths of Jobin and Kato and just everything that just happened to them, all the calamities and everything. And it just shows that this isn't something that they can't just get over just very quickly. And it's oddly very realistic on Araki's part of how people deal with horrible incidents that just happen to them. Horrible incidents, when horrible things happen to people, they can't just get over it or get better from it. Sometimes they deal with it negatively. Sometimes they take so many negative aspects from it that they turn worse from it, or they completely self-destruct themselves or something like that. It's oddly realistic. Usually in JoJo's, when a character dies or something, usually the character gets stronger from it, or there's something to take away from it or something like that. But here, these characters have to just deal with the grief that just comes with it. And it's honestly just very depressing to see, but also it also gives a shining glimmer of hope with Josuke, that they accept him as part of the family and all of that. And it just adds more and more that Josuke, this person that shouldn't be alive, was completely brought out of good flow to take down Toru, this person who's basically like the literal embodiment of calamity and horrible things that just happens to people. How so many things just came to build Josuke as a character that came to life out of the ground. It adds so much and much to the thematic elements of the Wonder View. It's honestly beautiful the way how Araki did it. But honestly, I love the Wonder Review arc. I think it's Araki's most bizarre arc that he's written. There's so many things that are going on in it that I love. It's odd, it's beautiful, it's weird. And yeah, it's my third favorite JoJo's arc just ever. And what are your thoughts about the Wonder Review arc? Do you hate it? Do you love it? What are y'all's thoughts? I would love to know. And yeah, we are back with JoJo content once again, and I'm happy that this was the first video I am able to make of my usual JoJo content. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you had a wonderful time. And yeah, see ya.